Want to live past 90? Follow these 7 daily habits backed by science. Have you ever caught yourself wondering, will I still be around at 90? And will I still feel like myself? Not just surviving, but really living. Waking up with energy, clear in the head, able to move without pain, and maybe even dancing a little in the kitchen while waiting for your tea to boil. That kind of life. For many of us, especially after 60, those thoughts start to creep in. The body doesn't bounce back like it used to. The energy dips a little more often. Maybe you've even had a few health scares, or you've watched friends slow down and it makes you think. But here's the good news. There are people living well into their 90s and even 100s, still sharp, still active, still joyful. And they're not just lucky. Scientists have studied them, from Japan to Italy to right here at home, and they all have a few key things in common. Simple daily habits that anyone can start, no matter the age, that help the body stay strong, the mind stay sharp, and the heart stay full. So today we're going to talk about those habits. Not just what they are, but how to make them part of your everyday life, without needing fancy supplements, extreme workouts, or turning your world upside down. Let's start with one of the most powerful and overlooked habits of all, getting good sleep. Now, I know what you might be thinking. At my age, sleep isn't what it used to be. And that's true for many people. It might take longer to fall asleep, you might wake up more during the night, and getting those deep, refreshing hours of rest can feel like chasing a dream. But sleep isn't just about feeling rested. It's your body's time to repair, recharge, and reset. While you're sleeping, your brain clears out waste, your cells regenerate, and your heart rate and blood pressure lower, giving your cardiovascular system a break. That's not just comfort. That's longevity in action. Research has shown that adults who consistently get 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep per night tend to live longer and have lower risks of heart disease, stroke, and cognitive decline. Not just more years, but better ones. So what can you do if sleep is tricky for you? Start by creating a calming evening routine. Turn off screens at least an hour before bed. Dim the lights and do something gentle, like reading, listening to soft music, or a bit of light stretching. A warm shower or cup of chamomile tea can also do wonders. And don't underestimate the power of regular sleep and wake times. Your body loves rhythm. Go to bed and wake up at the same time each day, even on weekends, and over time your internal clock will thank you. Now, let's move on to another habit that might surprise you, moving your body daily, but gently and consistently. We often hear about 10,000 steps or intense workouts, but truthfully, the goal isn't to push your body harder. It's to keep it moving regularly. Think of movement like oiling a machine. Keeps your joints fluid, your muscles working, and your heart strong. What's more, studies show that just 30 minutes of light to moderate activity a day can lower your risk of chronic diseases by up to 40%. That could be a walk around the neighborhood, tending to your garden, or dancing in your living room. It doesn't have to be structured exercise, it just has to be consistent. And if you're thinking, but my knees hurt, or I can't do what I used to, that's okay. Movement isn't a competition. If walking is too much, try chair yoga, swimming, or even just standing and stretching every hour. The key is to find what feels good for your body, and do it every day. Let me tell you about Mr. Tan, a lovely gentleman I once met in his late 80s. He wasn't running marathons, but every morning at 6 a.m., he would walk slowly to the corner of his street, greet the shop owners setting up, and then come back home. It was his ritual, rain or shine. And every evening he'd sit by the window, stretch his legs, and do light breathing exercises. He said it made him feel clean inside. That was his way of describing vitality. And science backs it up. Gentle, consistent movement improves circulation, keeps muscles engaged, helps balance, and reduces the risk of falls, which are one of the biggest threats to independence as we age. So don't let the fitness industry fool you into thinking you need to break a sweat or lift heavy to be healthy. The real magic lies in small movements, done daily, that honor your body. Now that we've talked about sleep and movement, let's shift to something that feeds both the body and the brain: what you eat. You've probably heard the phrase, you are what you eat. And at this stage in life, that becomes more true than ever. Food isn't just fuel, it's medicine. Every bite we take either helps our body thrive, or slowly wears it down. Now here's the thing, Eating for longevity doesn't mean cutting out everything you enjoy or switching to bland, boring meals. It means being mindful of what you put on your plate each day and choosing foods that nourish you from the inside out. One of the most powerful shifts you can make is adding more plant-based, whole foods into your meals. That includes colorful vegetables, leafy greens, beans, nuts, whole grains, and fruits. These aren't just healthy foods, they're protective. They help reduce inflammation, lower cholesterol, and even improve brain health. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine your plate looking like a little garden. Half of it filled with colorful veggies, bright orange carrots, deep green spinach, juicy tomatoes. Then a scoop of brown rice or sweet potatoes. Maybe some grilled tofu or a small portion of fish. Sprinkle a few walnuts on top. That kind of meal doesn't just taste good. It protects your heart, your memory, and your energy levels. People in the blue zones, places in the world where people regularly live past 90, have diets rich in plants, low in processed foods, and they eat just enough to feel satisfied, not stuffed. Okinawans in Japan even have a saying, hara hachi biyu, which means eat until you're 80% full. That small habit helps them avoid overeating, and it's one reason they have some of the longest lifespans in the world. Another tip, don't forget to hydrate. As we age, our sense of thirst dulls, so it's easy to get dehydrated without even realizing it. Try to sip water throughout the day, even if you're not thirsty. Herbal teas, soups, and fruits with high water content, like watermelon or cucumber, can also help keep you hydrated. But food and drink aren't just about physical health, they're connected to mental clarity too. Omega-3s from fish like salmon or flax seeds are linked to better brain function. Berries are rich in antioxidants that protect memory. Even a little bit of dark chocolate, yes, you heard that right, can boost mood and cognitive function. Now, speaking of mental clarity, let's move into another habit that might surprise you with how powerful it is. Keeping your brain active every single day. Our brains are like muscles. If we don't use them, they lose their strength. But if we challenge them just a little bit every day, they stay sharp, flexible, and alert. And the best part is, brain workouts can be fun. You don't need to solve complex math problems or memorize poetry. It can be as simple as learning something new. Try picking up a new hobby, reading a book, or even switching up your routine to keep your brain engaged. Learn a few words in another language. Try cooking a new recipe. Play a game that makes you think, like Sudoku or chess, or better yet, play it with a friend. Studies show that seniors who stay mentally engaged are much less likely to suffer from cognitive decline or diseases like Alzheimer's. But it's not just about doing crossword puzzles. The real magic happens when you challenge yourself with something just a little outside your comfort zone. Something that excites you, makes you curious, or connects you with others. That brings me to another point, social interaction. You see, we often focus so much on physical health that we forget how important it is to have emotional connection. And yes, this is part of keeping your brain healthy too. Humans are wired for connection. It's how we've survived for centuries. And now, science is showing that loneliness in older adults can be just as harmful as smoking or obesity. It's linked to higher risks of heart disease, depression, and even early death. But here's the good news. Connection doesn't mean you need to be surrounded by people all day. It can be as simple as having a meaningful conversation with one good friend, calling someone just to say hello, sharing stories with your grandchildren, smiling at the neighbors as you water your plants. Even joining a small local group or online community can make a big difference. And if you're someone who's felt more isolated lately, you're not alone. Life changes after 60. People move, loved ones pass, and routines shift. But it's never too late to build new connections. Start small. A short walk with a neighbor. A friendly chat at the market. Volunteering for something that matters to you. These tiny moments of human connection, they feed the heart, and they keep the mind alive. It all adds up. A strong body from daily movement. A clear mind from staying engaged. A happy spirit from staying connected. And nourishing food to fuel it all. But there's still something missing. A habit that ties it all together, one that's less talked about but deeply important. That habit is having a sense of purpose. Now, this might sound like a big idea, maybe even a little vague, but stay with me. Think about the days when you wake up with something to look forward to. Maybe it's tending your garden, calling your daughter, helping a neighbor, or simply sitting with a cup of tea and praying for those you love. Those days feel different, don't they? More alive, more grounded. That feeling, that quiet drive to do something meaningful, no matter how big or small, is what researchers call purpose. And it turns out having a strong sense of purpose is linked to a longer life, less risk of stroke, better sleep, and even lower inflammation in the body. It's like the soul's medicine. There's a study from Japan where many people live to 100 or more. They use a word, ikigai. It loosely translates to a reason to get up in the morning. It doesn't have to be grand. For some, it's looking after grandchildren. For others, it's painting, walking to the same bench each day to feed the birds, or simply being someone others can count on. I once met a woman named Balan. She was 92 and still active in her local temple. Every morning, she swept the courtyard, arranged the flowers, and made tea for the monks. Her hands were slow, but her spirit was sharp. When I asked her the secret to her energy, she smiled and said, "Con vik de lam, con long de song." As long as I have something to do, I still have a heart to live. Purpose doesn't always come knocking at the door. You have to invite it in. And it often lives in the small things. So if you've been feeling lost or like your days are all starting to blend together, try asking yourself one simple question each morning. Who or what can I care for today? It might be someone else, it might be yourself. But that little spark can shift everything. Now, once we have movement, food, sleep, connection, and purpose in place, there's one more habit that holds everything steady. It's simple, yet life-changing: practicing gratitude. You might think, I've lived a long life. I've seen enough to know it hasn't all been easy. And you're right. Life comes with its fair share of storms. But even in the midst of hardship, gratitude has a quiet power. It doesn't erase the pain, but it reminds you that beauty still exists, right alongside it. Science has found that people who practice gratitude regularly, meaning they take time to reflect on the good in their life, experience better sleep, lower stress, stronger immune systems, and even reduced symptoms of depression. That's no small thing. And the best part? Takes less than 5 minutes a day. You don't need a fancy journal. You don't even need to write it down, though that helps. You can say it out loud, or just whisper it in your heart before you go to bed. I'm grateful for my warm blanket. I'm grateful I could move my body today. I'm grateful I heard my granddaughter's voice on the phone. It's like planting seeds in your spirit. Over time, they grow into peace, into contentment. And when your heart feels full, your body responds too. Your blood pressure drops. Your sleep improves. Even your digestion can get better. The mind and body are more connected than we realize. Sometimes the world tries to convince us that aging is all about decline, about slowing down, giving up, or being less than we once were. But I want you to know, that's not true. Not even close. This phase of life can be one of the richest chapters. It's the time when wisdom shines brightest, when the rush is gone and the depth of things finally shows. You've earned every wrinkle, every laugh line, every scar. And now it's about living well, not just longer, but fuller. Each of these habits, moving daily, sleeping deeply, eating mindfully, keeping your brain active, staying connected, finding purpose, and practicing gratitude, works like a thread. Alone, they're strong. But when you weave them together, they become something powerful. They become a life that keeps blooming year after year. And the best part? You can start today. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to do them all at once. Just pick one. One small change. One step. And then another. Maybe tonight you go to bed 30 minutes earlier. Maybe tomorrow you take a walk down your street and wave at someone. Maybe during your tea, you write down 3 things you're grateful for. That's how it begins. And before you know it, you're not just hoping to live to 90. You're on your way there, one joyful habit at a time. If this message spoke to your heart, I'd love to hear from you. What habit are you going to try first? Share it in the comments. I read every one, and your story might just inspire someone else watching. And if you found this helpful, give the video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. This channel is here to remind you that life after 60 can be powerful, peaceful, and deeply fulfilling. We'll be sharing more tips, insights, and stories every week, and I'd love for you to be a part of this growing community. So here's to you, to your strength, to your spirit, and to your future, long, vibrant, and full of life. Until next time, take care of yourself. You're worth every moment.